Before going to details of this, I'd just like to set the stage here by showing you the script itself. That is a giant line drawn across it by Britt Allcroft herself, with the note, "Is this realistic?" I think that's a pretty big indicator of what's to come here. I won't go into super detail, but I just want to go through the story and give you all my thoughts. Because oh boy, this is a doozy. The episode is mostly about James. One rainy day, he was sent to work at the coal tip, much to his objections. Coal soot mixed with rain makes his paint filthier, and as we all know, James hates being washed. Again with that, we all know who James is, right? The coaling plant that we first see in Season 6 seems to stem from this episode, although the description here doesn't exactly match how it appears there. It appears to be more of a gravity control sort of tip system. It states that the platform mechanically lifts the truck to the top entrance, where the men would guide the truck to the tipper. The empty truck can return to ground level, which is a slight slope. The empty truck propels itself out of the way so that the full truck can take its place. Interesting. This has to be a real-life coal hopper that David didn't research, but for the sake of visuals, I'm just going to use a Season 6 plant. The coal hopper is struck by lightning, puts it out of control. The next truck was lifted before it could be uncoupled, spilling its load all over James. Trucks fall and derail. James was sent to the works, and in his place, Topham brings a diesel to cover him. The diesel, known as ED, is rather faulty and not as powerful as he looks. ED could be stated as electric diesel, and if that's the case, I can imagine that he could be a Class 73 or a Class 74, which were real-life electric diesels. Considering that he's described as not all that efficient, the Class 74 is a pretty much better candidate, as all of them were scrapped by 1977 for being unreliable. Though of course that he could have just been anything, and ED would mean something else. It's all speculation. But again, for the sake of visuals here, I'm just gonna use a wooden railway Class 40. One day, ED gets zapped by lightning and gains superpowers. No, I'm not kidding. That actually happens. The text literally says, for some reason, the electric shock from the lightning had converted ED into Super ED. He sped everywhere. Now instead of managing to pull few trucks, he could pull masses of them at one go. Oh my god, we're really doing this. Topham decides to trial ED on the Express, and he turns out to be exceptional at it. Posters appear everywhere. Get ahead with Super Ed, they say. ED becomes insufferable, and the engines all dislike him. When James returns, the engines all shun him, and refuse to let him enter the shed, because it was his accident that caused all of this. One day, ED was about to lead an effort when the third time, lightning strikes. But this time it zaps onto Gordon's buffer, which zaps ED and then freaking kills him. Okay, it doesn't really kill him, but it might as well have. It starts messing his electrics and starts coughing black smoke, which fills the station. And then the most evil Topham moment of the whole season occurs. Get rid of that smoke. If it's an engine, it should be scrapped. I'll see to it. Mark my words. Topham didn't even know what engine that was making the smoke, and he ordered it scrapped. It could have been Boko or Thomas for all he knew. So anyway, ED never worked again, and was taken away to be scrapped. Super Ed is now super dead, and everyone praises Gordon for murdering someone, and James gets let back into the shed. The end. I'm obsessed with James and Super ED. This is the most out there concept for a Thomas the Tank Engine episode. It gives me a vibes of Big World, Big Adventures. I cannot believe that this is real. Britt was absolutely in the right to give this one a hard pass. It is too ridiculous as it is. I do find it a little funny that Britt claimed that this episode was unrealistic, while at the same time, she was writing her movie that involved a magic engine and a diesel with a claw on its roof.